Hello there, I am Anny Ikebudu. Today I'll be talking about causes of delay in getting married. Causes of delay in getting married. Beloved, it is God's will that we get married. God said that it is not good for man to be alone. It is also His will that we enjoy our marriages and not endure our marriages. I want you to understand that there's a woman for every man and there's a man for every woman. It is not the will of God that we be without a mate. But there's a time to get married. To everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Once you get to a certain age, you are supposed to settle down and start to raise your own family. But oftentimes we see people who have come of age and they are not yet married. This condition sets off some tension and frustration. This condition is referred to as delay in getting married. Today, as I said earlier, we are going to be looking into some of the causes of such delay and try to prefer solutions to them. Now let's look at some of the causes of delay in getting married. The first one I want to talk about today is the lack of understanding the spiritual dynamics of marriage. Most of us have these misconceptions about marriage, and these misconceptions, they arise from inadequate understanding of what the Word of God says about marriage. Most young women are looking for husbands that will be a blessing to them. Most young women are looking for kinsmen redeemers. They are looking for ATM machines that will dispense cash to them anytime they need it. They are looking for a Moses, someone that will deliver their whole family and the entire village from the bondage of poverty. Most sisters are looking for donatus instead of a darling. Beloved, you need a husband and not a benefactor. You need a husband and not a benefactor. Don't reduce marriage to a business venture. It is a spiritual venture. Because oftentimes when you meet a young girl and you want to get to know her, you want to get interested in having a relationship with her that may lead to marriage, most times such young ladies are only interested in getting to know your financial standing, how much you earn, where you work, what you drive. They behave as if to say they are a financial institution looking and asking for collateral, for security, before they can engage with you or do business with you. It's a woeful misconception. But before we go forward, let us go back to where marriage was instituted. Let us go to the very beginning. Let's look at the sequence that God put in place as a template for marriage. Now, the first thing that God gave man was a relationship with God. Because the Bible said that God planted a garden east of Eden, and He took man and put him in the garden. Now, I want you to understand that Eden is not a geographical location. Eden is an atmosphere. Eden is an atmosphere of the presence of God. Eden is the spot that heaven meets with the earth. Eden is a place of unrestricted fellowship with God. Because we saw in the Bible how God used to come down in the cool of the day to have fellowship with man. Therefore, no man should be ready for marriage until he comes to a place of relationship with God. Sisters, hear me and hear me real good. You have to be too much into Jesus that a man must have to meet with Jesus before they can meet with you. Jesus is our Eden. Jesus is our access to unrestricted fellowship with God. Jesus is our access to unrestricted atmosphere of God and atmosphere of heaven. So therefore, a man ought to be in Eden. A man ought to be born again before he starts to talk about marriage. Because when a man truly meets with Jesus, his desire changes from selfishness to love. Now, the second thing that God gave man was work. He put him in Eden to dress it and to keep it, to work it. Until you are a working man, you shouldn't be looking for a wife. A lazy person, an unemployed person, shouldn't be looking for a wife. These days we see young boys in school, in first year, second year, say they are dating. They are dating. They're in a relationship. And I wonder what kind of foolish relationship is that? You are in school under the sponsorship and auspices of your parents. They pay your school fees, they give you feeding money, and yet you are looking for a woman. And unfortunately, some women, some young ladies in quotes, accept such proposals. How can you be accepting such a proposal from a young man that is under the scholarship of his father and his mother? Where do you think it will lead to? Before any man should start talking about marriage, he must be a working man. God gave Adam work before he gave him a woman. The third thing that God gave man was boundaries. He told him, of every tree of the garden thou mayest eat of it, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. Beloved, never follow any man who does not have boundaries. I repeat again, never follow any man who does not have boundaries, who does not have guiding principles. Don't follow a man who is lawless, a man who breaks every law with impunity, a man who does not respect contracts. Because if he does not respect contracts, believe me, he's not going to respect his contract of marriage with you. If he does not have boundaries, it is likely that he will not respect the boundaries of morality and marriage. The fourth thing that God gave man was, God said to man that you cannot fulfill this mandate all by yourself. He said you will need help. It is not good for man to be alone. Let us give to him a helpmeet. The word helpmeet means a helper configured for you, a helper suited for you. But did you notice that the helper, the issue of a helper, didn't come up until Adam started to work? God never said it's not good for man to be alone, that he needs a helper, until man started to work. When Adam started working, the quality of help he required became very obvious. You don't even know the quality of help you require until you start to work. What a lazy man may call help may not be help to a working man. You can never know what help is or what constitutes help until you start working. The woman was brought in to provide help to a man, configured, specially configured to help that man. It therefore means also that what is help to me may not be help to you. What may be help to me, because what is help to me is determined by my life purpose. It is your life purpose that determines the choice of your life partner. It is what you are trying to achieve that determines the type and the quality of help that you require. The woman was brought in to provide help to a man. She came to do things that Adam couldn't do for himself. So if you're a Homo sapien with female genitals, and there's nothing special or peculiar that you can add to a man's life apart from your sexuality, then you are a girl and not a woman. You are a doll. You are a baby doll. There's something about baby dolls. Baby dolls are beautiful. Their makeups are always intact. Their hair is always together. Baby dolls are always dressed up nicely. But guess what? Baby dolls can never do anything for themselves, neither can they do anything for any man. As long as you have nothing to offer a man, you are not yet ready for marriage. As long as you have nothing special to offer, there are possibilities that you will be delayed in getting married. Because these days, men are looking for assets rather than liabilities. If you have nothing to offer a man apart from your sexuality, you are a liability. Guess what? Your pulchritude, your bust, your breast, your figure, your shape, your hips are not special, because these days they are common commodities. What makes a woman special is determined by the quality of help and support she can render to any man that comes to marry her. When you have nothing to offer, it will be very likely that a boy will come after you rather than a man coming after you. When a young lady has nothing to offer, she will attract boys and not men. Boys look for girls while men look for women. And the distinguishing factor between a girl and a woman in this instance has nothing to do with age. Rather, it has all to do with capacity. Boys look for toys, whilst men look for helpers. And you know something about toys? Toys are changed easily, but helpers are not easily replaced. So let's look at toys. For instance, boys love to play the PlayStation. And some years ago it was PlayStation 2, later it's PlayStation 4, later I don't know what it is now, I think it's Xbox or whatever it is. They play. Boys play games. Boys love toys. They play games. And there's something about toys. Immediately a new version is released, the young man drops his PlayStation 2 and picks up PlayStation 3. And as he's playing with PlayStation 3, they release PlayStation 4. You know what he does? Immediately, he drops PlayStation 3 and picks up PlayStation 4. And once in a while, he will remember PlayStation 1. And he goes back again to play with PlayStation 1. Toys are easily dropped. The reason why they meet you, promise you heaven on earth, after a while they drop you is because you are a toy. If you're a helper, nobody drops a veritable helper easily. So today we see a lot of sisters that ought to be a blessing to any man that comes into their lives, looking desperately for men that will be a blessing to them. This is the reverse order. It is not scriptural. This has caused a lot of delay because this kind of misconception has made a lot of sisters to remain single because they are looking for almost non-existent men. Sister, hear me and hear me really good. You are designed to be a bundle of blessing. But societal, tribal, and cultural misconceptions have messed up your understanding of who you are supposed to be. You are configured to be a blessing, designed to be a blessing. You ought to be such a bundle of blessing that any man who wants to marry you will have to pray and fast to be confident enough to seek your hands in marriage. Because of this misconception, you that's supposed to be a bundle of blessing, to the extent that any man who wants to marry you has to go to God in prayer and fasting, seeking for power and grace and faith to be able to propose to you. But now, because you don't know who you are or what you're supposed to be, you have failed to develop your capacity. Now you are sitting down, praying, fasting, and waiting for your knight in shining armor to come and sweep you off your feet and place you on perpetual scholarship for the rest of your life. This has caused a lot of delay. It is not the mind of God. The mind of God is that a woman shouldn't look for a man to be a blessing to her. It says it is not good for man to be alone. Let's give him someone that will bless him. Sweetheart, you are a bundle of blessings. Let me ask you a question. If the answer to this question is not in the affirmative, then you are not ready to get married. This is the question. If a man marries you today, will there be a remarkable change or transformation in his life? If a man marries you today, will there be a remarkable change or transformation in his life? If the answer is no, you are not ready for marriage. But it's not late, it's not over. You can learn anything you want to learn. You can develop your capacity. You can build up yourself. You can learn a skill. You can groom yourself. You can transform yourself to the extent that any man who marries you, the person's life transforms immediately. He marries you. That's who you are. You are designed and configured to be a bundle of blessing. Stop looking for Moses. Stop looking for Boaz. Boaz is gone. Stop looking for a kinsman redeemer that will redeem you and your entire family from poverty. Stop looking for an ATM machine. You're a bundle of blessing. God bless you.